Hey y'all, it's me, Kevvie. So earlier this year, I got an arc of Austina Basterica's new short story collection, 19 Claws and a Blackbird. I loved Tender is the Flesh so much, one of my all-time favorite novels. So I knew this would be an excellent collection. I meant to post this review before the book's release, but we know how hectic my life's been this year, so got a little postponed. So now let me tell you a little bit about my 7 favorite stories in the collection. Light, Swift, Monstrous Sound was the opening story, and it really pulled me in. It tells the story of a woman who is just sitting on her patio, minding her business when a pair of dentures drops from the sky, followed shortly by a body, barely missing her by inches. See, what a great image to open with. What I loved most about this story is that while a lot of things are happening to this woman, her real focus of the night is people watching, and nearly getting crushed by a body was not the most disturbing part of her night. Candy Pink uses a twisted take on the 5 stages of grief to describe a woman processing a difficult breakup. This story had some of the most beautiful language in the collection. Mary Carminum is one of those cathartic stories where women take agency back over skeevy men. I've seen this trope done before, like in one of my favorite trans novels, Fierce Femmes and Notorious Liars, and it's always a satisfying trope. Elena-Marie Sandoz is about a creep, fondly remembering a woman that they had driven to suicide with their disturbing stalker behavior. It was such an uncomfortable read that kept getting more and more bizarre. Anita and Happiness was one of the funniest stories in the collection. It's about a man who dates an autistic woman, and he has convinced himself that her autistic traits are actually indications that she's an extraterrestrial alien. What's more believable, that aliens are walking among us and dating random guys? Or that perhaps someone needs to educate themselves more on autism? The absurdity of this story's humor really elevated it to be one of my favorites. Unamuno's Boxes is a story of tragic sadness. A woman so desperately lonely that she seeks the company of a serial killer. I love that throughout the story you're questioning whether or not the taxi driver is the killer she's been talking about. I loved the pacing of the story and the brutal punch at the end. It for sure moved me more than any story in the collection. Without a doubt, the most relatable story for me was the continuous equality of the circumference. It tells the story of a woman who is desperate to become perfectly round, like a literal circle. I myself have often fantasized about what it would be like to just be a giant blob. Like, what do we need all these bones for? I love that this story is holding up a mirror to society's superficial body standards and the lengths that people will go to achieve them. The story is hardcore body horror, so good luck if that makes you squeamish. I had a few recurring issues with the rest of the stories. For starters, several of the stories in this collection are about SA or CSA, so if you're sensitive to those topics, I would tread carefully. Many of the stories I chose not to talk about because I just struggled to understand or find meaning in them. But that's absolutely not because of the quality of the book. Basterica did an excellent job again, just as I've alluded to with everything going on in my life, trying to find a new place to live in such short notice and all of that. I just didn't have a lot of headspace to devote to reading, comprehension, and interpretation. So I can't review all the stories because I just wouldn't be a fair judge. I'm still thrilled that I read it and can share with you my favorites from it. Have you yet read 19 Claws and a Blackbird? Are you going to now? What'd you think of Tender is the Flesh? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if it pleases and sparkles, I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!